You're watching Sunrise, still with us, reviewing the papers of the theologian Vicky Beeching and the deputy editor of the Daily Express, Michael Booker. Welcome back for the final time this morning. And Michael, you're starting off with this story in The Times, telling us that private pupils are out of touch. Why so?
Yeah, this is Sir Michael Wilshaw. He's the head of Ofsted, the schools inspectorate. And he was speaking yesterday and he issued what they say is a blunt appeal for independent schools to do more to support teachers and pupils in state schools in their areas. But at the same time, he said that to those who say parents pay $30,000 a year for the privilege, I'd ask if they really want their children marooned on an island of privilege that does not reach out to the mainland. So he's wanting the kids as well to understand that it's up to them to try and reach out to kids in poorer areas as well. But, you know, you can see from the side of things, the independent schools have hit back and said that he's headline grabbing, calling him out of touch, and he's not aware that of 90% of the things that they do to try and help kids who don't go to their schools but are in the local area comprehensives that aren't so good. So they say they are doing the work. Again, it's not the kids' fault if they're at private school and they...
No, absolutely.
You know, yeah, it does sound like a really sweeping generalisation and almost like the private schools have to kind of give out of their great wealth to these poor state schools. I went to a state school that was a perfectly good one, and I think it was a great place, and we didn't necessarily need any help. So I wonder whether the state schools necessarily feel beholden to be helped by the private schools. I think that's saying quite a lot about what he assumes they have to offer.
And surely the heads of these independent and private schools, their responsibility first and foremost is to make their school as best they possibly can be. Yes, it's good to have these altruistic efforts to try and help others as well in the area, but at the same time their responsibility is to their kids.
And also there's an assumption that private school kids do not mix with state school kids, which is not true.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. It's really not true.
Use them as servants, that's all. That's what they might do that. Yeah.
I walked into that one, didn't I? All right, let's move on to
look out the shed for a minute.
Let's move on to The Times. And Churchill could be replaced by a woman. Why and where?
This is great. It's actually a campaign headed up by a friend of mine called Caroline Criado Perez, and there's been a real outcry about the replacement of Elizabeth Fry on the banknote. She was one of only 2 women ever to feature on these historic figures that were launched in 1970. And with her gone and Churchill here, there's been a real uproar about why a woman wasn't chosen. Now, apparently the Bank of England say that they chose based on achievement and it wasn't based on gender, but at the same time, it really is not a representation of fairly of men and women. So they're challenging it from the Equalities Act and saying that a woman needs to be on there. Now, the reply that many people have given online is, well, obviously there's a woman on the note because the Queen's on the note every time, but she's obviously there by birthright because she's a monarch and not because of her own achievement. So I'm definitely waving the flag that we need to have another woman on the banknotes.
So that's Plan B, though, isn't it? That's
it is, yeah. So it's
plan.
still in process, but there's a lot of pressure. There's been a lot of signatures, and this particular campaign is actually raising money at the moment through donations to kind of make a legal challenge. So I'm hoping that they will bend.
It does seem farcical, though, doesn't it, that there will only be one woman on the Bank of England notes. I mean, we are in the 21st century nowadays. There aren't a couple of the sisterhood that have accomplished things over the past couple of years.
You're quite right. Watch this space, we'll see what happens. I suspect I know what will, but we shall see. Let's have a look at the Express, Michael. And this sounds like a riveting day out at a pencil museum.
Well, yes, but the alternative
is
the alternative to the pencil museum, which does have the world's longest colouring pencil, nearly 27 foot long. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to go there. No, this is some good mischief making by a Conservative London MEP, Marina Yannakoudakis. Now, she's done some digging around and she's discovered that nearly £1 million of taxpayers' money has gone on a visitors' centre at the European Commission in Brussels. Now, this visitors' centre gets about 50,000 people going in and getting really bored every single year, apparently. So just about 50,000 people go in, and apparently this fascinating place shows visitors what the Commission does on a day-to-day basis, which sounds thrilling. Whereas in Keswick, we have the Pencil Museum, which gets far more visitors, doesn't get any public money,
and has in our ear. It is fantastic, according to our boss.
And they've got the longest colouring pencil in the world.
And has a 27-foot-long colouring pencil. So they're just pointing out that what a bit of a waste of money going on this, effectively a museum to the EU, getting £1 million, whereas poor old Keswick and other places in this country, which could do with a few quid and a bit of publicity, doesn't get a bean.
And teach us all about pencils.
I never thought I'd want to visit this museum in Keswick.
Well, I thought you do now. I'm
quite curious. There was a bit at the end of the story.
So you thought it was pointless before?
That was a bad day.
We're going to have to leave it there.